was a cold, moonless night in the Appalachian Mountains. A group of 3 friends decided to escape the hustle and bustle of the city for a weekend, embarking on a thrilling camping trip. They had heard about a nearby area rife with UFO sightings and paranormal activity, which only heightened their excitement. After a day of hiking and setting up camp, they gathered around the fire, sharing stories and laughter, unaware of the horrors that awaited them. As the fire died down, Jack, the adventurous one, suggested they explore deeper into the woods, leaving the safety of their camp behind. "Come on, guys. We didn't come all the way out here just to sit around a fire," Jack taunted them, his eyes shining with excitement. Sarah hesitated but eventually agreed, not wanting to seem like a scaredy cat. Chris, on the other hand, shrugged off his concerns and readily agreed. As they ventured further into the darkness, the surrounding trees seemed to grow taller and more ominous, their shadows dancing in the wind. The silence was deafening, broken only by the crunch of their footsteps on the forest floor. Suddenly, they stumbled upon a small clearing. "Guys, look," Sarah whispered, pointing to the sky. A strange pulsating light was hovering above them, casting an eerie glow over the clearing. The friends exchanged nervous glances, wondering what the source of the light could be. "What do you think it is?" Chris asked, his voice quivering. Jack, still trying to act brave, replied, "Probably just some kind of natural phenomenon. Let's go back to camp." As they turned to leave, a powerful gust of wind blew through the clearing, making the trees sway violently. The friends clung to each other in fear, and the pulsating light grew brighter, seemingly descending upon them. Suddenly they heard a deafening noise that seemed to come from all directions at once. The ground beneath them began to vibrate, and the friends were petrified with fear. Out of nowhere, 3 tall humanoid figures appeared at the edge of the clearing, their skin glistening like liquid metal. The friends stared in disbelief, their hearts pounding in their chests. The figures approached them, their movements unnervingly fluid and silent. Jack, Chris, and Sarah could do nothing but watch in terror. Without warning, the light above them intensified, and a beam of energy enveloped the friends, lifting them off the ground. They were pulled toward the source of the light, which they now realized was an enormous spacecraft hovering just above the treetops. As they were drawn into the ship, the world around them faded away. Inside the spacecraft, the friends were greeted by more of the strange beings, all of whom seemed to be studying them with great interest. The friends were led to a large chamber filled with advanced technology and an array of frightening instruments. The beings never spoke, but their intentions were clear. They were to be subjects of terrible experiments. Over the course of several days, the friends endured unspeakable pain as the aliens conducted their experiments. They were strapped to cold metal tables, their bodies immobilized by restraints that seemed to defy gravity. The aliens pierced their skin with sharp, needle-like instruments, collecting samples of their blood and tissue. They inserted probes into their eyes, ears, and other orifices, causing excruciating pain and leaving them disoriented and nauseous. Their captors also subjected them to a series of psychological tortures, exposing them to horrifying images and sounds that seemed to be drawn from their deepest fears and nightmares. The friends screamed and cried, but their tormentors were unmoved, their faces impassive and unreadable. When the aliens finally released them, Jack, Chris, and Sarah were barely recognizable. Their bodies were covered in bruises, cuts, and burns from the relentless experimentation. Their eyes were bloodshot and hollow, reflecting the emotional trauma they had endured. The friends were once again enveloped in the energy beam and returned to the clearing in the woods. As the spacecraft disappeared into the night sky, they huddled together, grateful to be alive but forever changed by their harrowing experience. They knew that no one would ever believe the truth of what had happened to them, but the scars they bore, both physical and emotional, would serve as a constant reminder of the horrors they had faced. Struggling to support one another, the friends made their way back to the campsite and eventually left the mountains behind. They sought solace in support groups for those who had encountered extraterrestrial beings, seeking to find understanding and validation for their experience. They learned that they were not alone, and began the long journey toward healing. Despite the passage of time, the friends never stopped looking over their shoulders, fearing that the aliens would one day return. The memory of that fateful camping trip in the Appalachian Mountains would forever cast a shadow over their lives, a chilling reminder that the world was not as safe and predictable as they had once believed. When you subscribe, be sure to click the notification bell. Click here for more true scary stories.